According to Torah, according to Judaism, according to Yiddishkeit, do angels exist? Technically speaking, you could answer yes or no, and both of them could be correct, depending on what you mean. Because obviously we have stories in Tanakh, we know that malachim exist, that they're real, that angels are real. But what do you mean by exist? If by exist you mean exist physically, they're made out of physical mass, and they're a part of the physical universe, the answer is no, angels are not. Does an angel exist the same way that a chair exists, the same way that a table exists, the same way that our bodies exist? No, it doesn't. It's not a physical entity. An angel's not a person. The reason we don't see angels isn't just because they're invisible. It's because they don't actually physically exist. They're not physical beings. It doesn't make them any less true or any less real, but it does make them not physical. They're not a part of the physical universe. They exist in a different layer of reality. And there are times when Hashem allows those rules that define the different layers to be overridden, and that angels can enter this layer of reality, which we have. There are stories of malachim interacting with people. Those are exceptions to the rule. And if we think about the way that it works, this whole system, we talk about the universe. The universe that we refer to with the term universe is one of many layers, right? Multiverse is a term that's used in science fiction, but really there is a multiverse. The whole universe that we know of is one layer. It's just the layer in the world of Asiya. There's a whole additional layer of reality that we don't experience. It's not physical. That's the world of Yetzirah. And there's another whole layer, which is the world of Yetzirah, which is the world of Bria, and another whole layer, the world of Atzilus. And then there are all kinds of things happening before those layers begin to exist. And all of this is referred to, there's a term Hishtalshalus, which basically means that it's like an evolution, it's a process. Right? Without Atzilus and Bria and Yetzirah, without the earlier layers, each of those layers is a stepping stone to get here. Because to get from Hashem, from infinity, that we can't even describe because anything we say won't be true, won't be accurate, to get here, there have to be a series of layers before we can get here. And each of those layers is a precursor. We wouldn't be here if those layers didn't come first. So everything that exists in this world, and just think about the number of insects, the number of animals, the number of plants, and then all the number of things that exist under the water in all of aquatic life, and break all of that down and zoom in to the point where you get down to cells and to molecules and to atoms and protons and electrons and neutrons. All of that complexity exists in an equivalent, non-physical way in the world of Yetzirah, because that's where it comes from. Our world evolved from Yetzirah, which is a previous layer of reality. And everything in Yetzirah comes from its previous form in the world of Bria, of a higher layer of spiritual reality. And then all of that comes from Atzilus. And then all of that comes from everything that was before the Tzimtzum. So, the same way that when you look at a person, you see a person, a face, a body, hair, eyes, skin, but everything you see is only there because of all the things that are happening beneath the surface, inside, behind the scenes, that make that person be a person. We wouldn't be the person we are if we didn't have a brain and nerve cells and all the things that the nervous system that are going on in the nervous system, which in itself is made up of who knows how many cells, each of which has so much going on inside. And the circulatory system, and the red blood cells that are carrying oxygen, and then the white blood cells that keep our immune function going, and the muscles, etc., etc., and the liver, and the kidneys, and the spleen, and the pancreas, and the list is endless, depending on how deep down we want to go and how much we want to zoom in. All of that's real and important. We wouldn't be here without any of that, even though we don't see it. We might not be aware of it. But that's what makes us who we are, and it's the same thing here. All of these things that happen behind the scenes, we could go through our whole life without ever knowing there's such a thing as spiritual layers of reality. Even if we do know that there's such a thing, it's hard enough to just imagine and relate to the concept in a real way. We could go through our whole life not even being aware that they exist. It doesn't mean that they're any less important to who we are, because those are the steps between Hashem, between the Creator and our reality, our universe. And without all of that, our universe wouldn't exist. That's what defines and determines everything that happens is a result of everything that happens before in previous layers. And it's all, those layers of reality are the same thing as everything, in a way, like everything under the surface of the water. You can go your whole life without ever realizing, without ever knowing that there's a whole world under the surface of the water. If you just put on some goggles and an oxygen tank and just go swimming, and it's a whole new world. It's the same thing. There are all these layers of reality that we can go on without knowing. That doesn't make them any less important. Those layers of reality are what make our layer of reality what it is. They make the universe what it is, and the universe wouldn't be what it is without them. But it goes in two directions. So the Mizritcha Magid, there's an expression we say, it's in a lot of shuls. You'll see sometimes in a shul on an Amud where the Chazan daven, sometimes you'll see it on Aron HaKodesh. Da mala mala mimach, know that which is above you. Which generally is saying, just be aware of Hashem, be aware that there's a Creator above. Especially you come into shul, you come to daven, you come to pray, you come to connect and to have a personal interaction with the Creator. Be aware, da mala mala mimach, know that which is above you. The Mizritcha Magid retranslates that and says, da, no. Mala mala, that which is above, all of that which is happening above, the angels and the spiritual things, and Atzilus and Bria and Yetzirah, all these different layers of reality, mimach, comes from you. Our actions determine that which happens in all of these spiritual layers of reality.